Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lee Marie and I teach you how to. Today's video is going to be a lot of fun because we're going to be making soap. And not just any soap, but my favorite soap recipe. Now, like some of you that are just starting out, making soap can seem complicated. Working with lye can be a little scary. So there is something that is called melt and pour soap. And that's what we're going to be using today. So what is melt and pour soap? Well, basically it is soap that is already soap, but it is sold in a way that you can actually buy it like this in a block, cut it up, put it in a container, put it in the microwave. I don't know if you caught the new addition to my studio. Put it in the microwave, melt it down, add your fragrance. You can add certain additives, or you can add mica or coloring or things like that, and then pour it into a mold, and just like that, you've made soap. So this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be using some melt and pour soap, and I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite recipe. There's a lot of different places that you can buy your melt and pour soap. My personal favorite is Makesy because they have kind of an all-natural, surfactant-free bases. So their bases, you know, they're toxin-free and all of that. They use sustainable ingredients. Now, there are other companies that sell sulfate-free bases, so definitely keep an eye out on those. You can find bases at, of course, Makesy.com. You can find them at brambleberry.com, wholesalesuppliesplus.com, and a bunch of other places. So I'll leave a list down below in the description. It's where you can get your melt and pour soap bases. There's a lot of different reasons why I like using melt and pour soap. One is it's so simple. Two, I feel like someone else has done the hard work for me. What I can focus on is the fragrance and the final presentation to my customers. So the melt and pour soaps, they actually come in a ton of different bases. This one, for example, is shea and goat milk. There's a lot of goat milk type soap bases out there. This is a cocoa and mango butter base. And then my personal favorite is the activated charcoal base. I love using activated charcoal. It's good for a lot of different irritants on the skin. It's basically like takes toxins away. So I really like using activated charcoal. And this is the base that we're going to be using today for my personal favorite soap recipes. So activated charcoal. Again, what is that? Well, one thing I didn't know, activated charcoal has been around for a very long time. In fact, hospitals and ERs use it to, they actually administer it to people who have either been like poisoned or who have toxins in their body, because the charcoal literally like attracts and takes away all of those toxins. So it's anti-inflammatory and it is also antibacterial. So it is one of my favorite bases to use. I use this soap every single day and I love it. Things first, before we get started, you are working with a product that you will eventually have on your skin or somebody else's. So you definitely want to wash your hands and put gloves on when working with any of your equipment or materials. The second thing you want to make sure is to always have alcohol on hand so that you can spray things down and sanitize them. It is really, really important that you do this because if you're selling a product that is going to go on somebody's skin, you want to make sure you're taking all the precautions possible to give them the cleanest product possible. Okay, so let's talk supplies. The first thing you're going to need, obviously, is your base. Now, most of these bases are sold in a 16-ounce or a 1-pound block. So it is super simple and economical for you to give this a try. So today's recipe, we are going to be using a 1-pound block. The second thing that you want is something to cut your block up with. So we're going to be cutting it up and we're going to be putting it in this glass bowl. Now you can use any microwave safe bowl. I prefer to use glass. I just think it works better. And then we're also going to need a spatula because you're going to be stirring it as you go. Now, as far as your silicone molds, it can be just about anything, but let's look at the variety of silicone molds that are available. If you chose to make melt and pour soap look like all of those beautiful long bars of soap that you see on Instagram, you can do that. You can get a mold just like this, and as long as you melt enough of these, you can fill it up, make those fun little designs on top, and cut them just like those bars. Nobody would know that it is a melt and pour base that you used. So this is a really fun mold if you want to do those long bars that you want to cut yourself. This is my favorite. This is a 4-ounce block kind of rectangular mold. It gives you a really nice big bar. So this is the one that I like to use. And it's also the one we're going to be using today. If you want to do something smaller, maybe a little bit daintier, more feminine, this is definitely a really nice mold for you to use. It's that classic kind of oval shape. This is a great rectangular one. They're smaller, but they're definitely nice and tall. So this, I believe, is a 3-ounce rectangular block. And this is available from Wholesale Supplies Plus. So this gives you quite a few bars. They're a little bit on the smaller side, but they are very, very nice as well. And my second favorite to use, this is from Brambleberry, in case you couldn't tell, is what I call the hockey puck. This is the round soap, and this is actually a lot of fun to use this mold. So this mold will be used in an upcoming video that I have for you guys. So be on the lookout for that. So this is the mold that we're going to be using. Make sure that the mold is free from any kind of debris, dust, anything that could be in there, any kind of debris. And then you always want to spray down your molds before you use them with alcohol. So I always keep a bottle of alcohol, a little sprayer around, and you just want to make sure that it's nice and sprayed. And then you just set it down and let the alcohol dry off. Also, when working with soap, realize that your fragrance oil has to be body safe, because obviously this is going to go on the body, and you want to stay within those parameters of a body safe fragrance oil. So most fragrance oils, that's going to be in the 3 to 6%. The fragrance oil that I am using today, we're going to be using 5% of it. And that fragrance oil is from Wholesale Supplies Plus, and it is actually called Headache, which is kind of a funny name for a fragrance oil, but I really love it because it has a fantastic peppermint and eucalyptus smell. Now, this is an essential oil and fragrance oil blend, so it's a little bit of both. It's kind of a 50-50 blend. And again, you have wonderful peppermint, wonderful eucalyptus. This soap smells absolutely incredible. So we're going to be using that fragrance today for our charcoal activated soap base. So again, the first thing you want to do is you want to cut your soap into chunks, and you want them to be on the smaller side because you're going to be microwaving. That's what makes this so super simple to do. All you need really is a microwave and some simple supplies, and you've got instant soap. So I'm cutting this kind of like you would, like a stick of butter. So we're going to be cutting like little square chunks that are kind of like this big. So that's what you're looking for. And you're going to pop them right into your glass container or whatever microwave safe container that you want to use. All right. Perfect. So we're going to get that in there. Now you want to microwave this in 15-second bursts. That's really important because melt and pour soap can easily burn. And the last thing you want to do is set your timer for 2 minutes in the microwave and come back and you have this burnt, awful soap mess. So be sure that you're heating it up in 15-second bursts. Then, once it's completely melted, you're going to want to measure out your fragrance oil, pour it in, and then at that point, we're really just pouring it into our mold, letting it dry, and we're just about done. So this is what melt and pour soap looks like. So it is completely melted, and that takes anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes depending on your microwave. But it is completely liquid, and now we can add our fragrance. Okay, so a couple things you want to keep in mind when working with melt and pour soap. Number one, you need to work pretty quickly. You can't kind of dilly-dally or choose now to measure your fragrance or anything like that. You do have to work pretty quickly with it. Here is my fragrance, and since this is 16 ounces of soap, 5% of that is 0.8 ounces. So that's how much is in here. Second thing you need to keep in mind, as soon as you add the fragrance, your soap is going to start to harden. So you have to pour quickly. That's why it's important to have your molds, already sprayed, clean, and ready to go. So you have to be efficient with this. I'm going to pour in our fragrance. Okay, so you might see some bubbles right at the top. What you want to do is take your alcohol and spray those right off. And as soon as you spritz it with alcohol, all of those bubbles disappear. So now we're just going to wait and have our soap set, which can take a few hours. Then we're going to unmold it and I'll show you the finished product. All right, so now that our beautiful soap is done, look at that amazing soap that we just created literally in minutes. How are you going to package it for your customer? There's a couple different things that you can do. One is you can always do the paper band, or they're called sometimes belly bands, that you can do around your soap. That's one option. Another option that you can do is you can wrap your soap in tissue paper. So that is what I'm doing here. And then we're just going to use a sticker to seal that. So we have it beautifully wrapped in tissue paper, and then you can take it one step further. I have these cute little muslin bags, so you could put your soap in here and sell it that way. You can, do just the tissue paper. If you want to go really fancy, you can invest in boxes. You can certainly do that and do whole boxes. I prefer to do something kind of cute like that. So that is our beautiful charcoal activated soap with the scent of eucalyptus and peppermint. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, that you found value in it, and hopefully you'll try some Melt and Pour soap base as well. Links to all of the products that I've used are down below. If you have any questions, please also put them in the comments section. I will answer them the best that I can. I'm working on a lot more projects and tutorials for you guys, so keep on the lookout for that. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!